I don't know what we can talk about in this nation without talking about white superiority, honestly.
Who defines the meaning of God also defines the relationship between economy and God.
African Americans spent $1.3 trillion last year, making us the 16th wealthiest nation in the world. Why have we not turned those riches into wealth to develop our community?
Peace, family. It's so nice to be with you with yet another exciting installment of HAPI Talks. I just want to say shout out to everyone that is up in the house already before we even got started. I've always, every show excites me, but the shows where we talk about like how we make ourselves better and how we could use our innate powers to be better are really interesting and very exciting for me. And I know it's going to be exciting for you too, because HAPI Talks is about us moving from one place to the other. It's about ascension, all of that good stuff. All right. So I first want to say shout out to Eugenia. I see Michelle Jewell. I haven't seen you in a while. Rasha Mella, Ron Green. What's up? Eli, and you know what? I should really get my glasses. I'm gonna get my glasses when I bring on our host. We are having Mfundishi may join us a little bit late. He kind of had a prior engagement, so we'll see if he joins in. But trust me, it's gonna be exciting nonetheless. So let's just start off with just some good old housekeeping. All right. If you guys are not signed up for the newsletter, let's get signed up for the HAPI newsletter. Right there. You can get everything. You can get, if you go to our website, hapifilm.com, you can get, of course, our One Africa tickets. I'm going to talk about that separately, okay? But you can also grab any type of, all of our HAPI merch. We have T-shirts. I have one on tonight. I'm wearing the Nubia, there you go, T-shirt. We have DVDs, we have the HAPI download, or you can get the DVD, Tekken, and the Nubia DVDs. Also, when you're on the website, you can just hit the little button that says get connected, and you can get connected. Listen, it's so important to be part of like getting all the information. So our newsletter is comprised of 5 parts. We always have a HAPI update on there. We talk about an economic innovator, someone from the past who has laid the foundation for us to be financially independent right now. We give some financial one-on-one news and some health, like 101 tips. And we always support Black businesses. And all the next couple of episodes, well, really, we have probably the next year or maybe 2 years of support of Black businesses will be all the Black businesses that actually decided to take an ad out in our One Africa commemorative book. So we're going to showcase all of them, to our newsletter audience. So it's very important that if you're not connected, that you just go to hapifilm.com, hit the get connected, and get connected. All right. What's up, Lorenzo? And Simply Saved is back in the house. And Sebastian, how you guys doing? And Brian, we love Brian. I used to always see Brian when we would have Dr. Ranoka Rashidi's webinars. Brian was always in the house, so it's nice to see you. And we have Toronto in the house. Okay, Akabulan. So that's one thing. Make sure that you guys are getting connected. Now, what do you need to get connected for? All those things I mentioned, but now it's about us getting to the One Africa Conference, okay? This conference was rescheduled. We were supposed to be in Egypt hosting this conference with the elders, but there were some outside forces that did not want that to happen. And we care about everyone's safety, but not just about the safety, but just making sure that everybody's okay. And so we rescheduled it. And so now it's going to be in Detroit, Michigan, stateside. All right. Nobody can tell us nothing in Detroit. It is so important that you guys show up to this conference. You can come or you can just live stream. It will be April 30th and May 1st. Right there. In fact, let me make it bigger. It's going to be April 30th and May 1st in Detroit at the DoubleTree by Hilton in Fort Shelby, which is like Midtown in Detroit. It's going to be fabulous. We have a lot of people coming to this conference. We have Mfundishi, Dr. Jeffries, both Jeffries. We have Dr. Rosalind and Dr. Leonard Jeffries, Professor James Small, and the list goes on and on and on. We have a lot of people coming to the conference. So it's important for you guys to just check in, go to our hapifilm.com and get your tickets so that you can be ready to see this conference. And the other piece about this is this is the One Africa Power and Unity. And so it's important that we just don't, sit down, just watch it ourselves or, sort of watch it. No, it's important that you sit down with your family and watch all of our national treasures, our scholars, our educators, sit down and inspire us. They are up for the challenge. They will be coming to give, to talk, but also to give some action items, because it's not just about us, talking about, oh, we need to work together, but it's about how do we actually do that? And really it's about us first is knowing who we are. So we know how to be the best person to work with someone else. And so this conference is super important. And we have some exciting news we're going to announce about the conference once our guest comes on. But it's important that you guys show up. One Africa, Power and Unity. And don't, I tell you, everyone likes to wait to the last minute to get those tickets. Just go ahead and get your ticket now. Live stream right there. It's going to be April 30th. May 1st, 2022 in Detroit. So, make sure you get your tickets. Now, the other day, I got a chance to sit down with Dr. Melanin he's just awesome. Anybody that saw that interview, and if you haven't, just go to our YouTube page. And by the way, make sure you are sharing, liking, and share, like, and comment on the video. Okay, that way it gets out to more people. So, that was Dr. Karenga's second time coming on to our show, and I was just so excited to have him on and really just be able to sit down and talk to him. And so I said, oh, okay, Dr. Melanin, we're gonna get started, blah 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 blah. And he stopped me real fast. He's like, oh wait, you're not gonna read my bio? I was like, oh shit, okay. I was like, you know what? Let me read your bio. And so I'm glad, this is why we have elders, because sometimes we lose our way, we forget things, and they're always there to remind us about, when they are truly accepting of their eldership, because sometimes it's just old people who aren't really trying to be very helpful. But when it's somebody like Dr. Karenga, who's always in a teaching mode, I really appreciate him saying that. So it made me kind of take a little step back. I was like, damn, a lot of times we just say, oh, here's such and such and bring them on in. But, so I'm going to make sure I stick to, saying, like talking about who people are before they come on. So our first guest, Ron Spears, he is a Detroit-based spoken word artist and entrepreneur. He graduated from HBCU, Morehouse, okay, not the HBCU, and we all know what that one is, but he graduated from Morehouse College in Atlanta with a degree in physics and the University of Wisconsin-Madison, where he received a master's degree in engineering. For over 25 years, he has traveled extensively working on global transformation, consulting projects, and community-based initiatives aimed at improving the quality of life for African-American youth and adults. And he has served as a chief teacher for an African Rites of Passage program. Every time I talk to this brother, he's like, oh, I went here and I did this. And he's a mild-mannered brother. You'll see when he comes on. He's done so many things. And so without further ado, this is Ron Spears. Hey, Ron.
Hey, Sister Felicia, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I am doing...
Loving the hairstyle.
Yeah, my little fro. You know what? Everybody, well, no, I don't think anybody knows. But anytime I wear my hair in an afro, that means the next day I'm going to go get it done. I'm going to get it washed because the little afro is like the last stage where you can't pull the hair no more. It's just is what it is.
Well, like I told you in the green room, that's exactly how your hair was looking the day I met you about 20 some odd years ago. So that's
Yes.
this is when we first met. So
Yes.
taking me
And
back.
I know this is so wild that we're now sitting here on HAPI Talks.
Right.
So before we get started, everybody, we have to first share this good news, okay? Because we got some good news. So I'm going to set up the story, and then Ron's going to tell you what he did. All right. So we were, in planning this this One Africa conference. We were like, okay, we're going to have this conference, but we're like, okay, we're going to be in the conference, both days. We want to have like a party with the panelists, right? And so, I'm from Detroit. Another sister that's helping us, Brittany, she's from Detroit. And, we were trying to just figure out this party situation. So we called around a couple of places and we're like, wow, parties cost a lot of money. And the whole idea of the party is really for us to fundraise for our HAPI movement, because we're about to really just kind of legitimize some things and take it to the next level. So we were looking around, we were like, damn, this stuff is kind of expensive, but we kind of found something that we thought that would be nice and, that would be nice for the panelists to enjoy. So I just happened to be talking to this brother right here, Ron. And I'm telling him what we're going to do and stuff like that. And he was like, oh, absolutely no. He was like, you can't do that. Oh, no, and no. And so tell him what you said, Ron.
Really? The uncut version? Come on.
Yeah, this is HAPI Talks. We're about the truth up in here.
Well, Detroit, one thing we love to do in Detroit is party. And a lot of times, we tend to, I've been to some of the best parties that you're going to go to ever in Detroit are at these like what we call cabarets. Bring your own drinks. Somebody grandma is frying fish and fried chicken in the room, and we're just bringing our own stuff and we're just having a good time dancing and what have you. But I mean, when you're talking about Leonard Jeffries, James Smalls, Rosalind Jeffries, Mfundishi, Milana Karinga, you can't do that in a cabaret hall. You have to do something very majestic for these esteemed elders. And so, there in Detroit, there's only one place where that can really perfectly house and hold these type of people. And that's the African American Museum. And so I said, we got to have it there.
Yep. And then my next words was like, we ain't got money for that. I was like, it's that we actually had our premiere when we did our Detroit premiere of HAPI there. We were able to get in there, but that was like kind of coming out of COVID, so prices were a little bit different, and so we were able to afford it. But kind of during the whole conference, we were like, yeah, it's gonna be at the Cabaret Hall. And then Ron said,
well, yeah, and one of the things that we're going to get into tonight, because like you said in the intro, it's all about doing. I mean, getting the knowledge of self. Mm-hmm. There's nothing greater than the knowledge of self. But when we talk about manifestation, it's like, okay, what are you doing with that knowledge? And so, as part of one of the many things that I do in the form of manifestation is I do a lot of mission work in Africa as well as in the diaspora. So, I just have, I have a nice budget from donations, and I'm able to do things like what I'm about to do for y'all. And I'm going to sponsor, let me not say Ron Spears is going to sponsor the organization that I represent, which is a church in Detroit that I grew up in. We are going to sponsor the Charles Wright Museum to have you guys in the catering and the DJ and all of that, so that we could do this thing right. So that is my gift of love to the HAPI movement. I'll get into later on in the show why I'm doing it. Because it's well, you know what? I'll say it now. It was the HAPI documentary. because one of the things when I graduated from that other HBCU that you talked about, one of the things that I did when I graduated, I started my consulting career and was just busy. But when that Million Man March hit, I said, man, there was a call to action, and then watching the documentary, the HAPI film, I got that same vibe of a call to action. And so it's just like, we got to do something, and so this was just sort of an act of love for what you all are doing, and we want to be a part of it, and that's why I'm doing it. I mean, it's as simple as that. There's nothing deeper. There's no strings. It's just the documentary just took me back to when I got my knowledge of self on the campus of Morehouse with Dr. Leonard Jeffries and Yosef Ben Yakin and Ashwa Kwesi, Naeem Akbar. All those lecture series at the Martin Luther King Chapel took me back. And watching the documentary and then breaking the politics, economics, and culture, you guys just did a masterful job with that documentary. And that's what prompted me to do this.
Well, let me tell you something. You guys just don't know. When Ron said it, I was like, wait, what? I was like, you just go pay for it? He's like, yeah. He's like, he kept saying, he's like, these are our elders and they need to be in a space that represents who they are. And I was just like, damn. And I literally couldn't believe it. So I called Ty Key and I'm like telling Ty Key and he's not talking. I was like, wait, do you hear me? He's like, is this true? Is this true? Because we were just like, this has to be, sometimes when you're doing this type of work, you sit there and you don't know if what you're doing is reaching people, right? And you don't know if your message is getting out there. But after talking to Ron, we were like, damn. That's what's up. And so it was like a affirmation for us, that he, that he was getting the love that we was putting out. And so, I have to say, thank you, Ron. That is so fabulous. So we're going to be up in the house. So after the conference on the first day on Saturday, 8:00, we're going to head over to the Charles Wright Museum and get it in. Now, the cool thing about this is that not only, are you going to come and we have food, it's going to be music, you get a nice little swag bag. I ain't going to tell you what's going to be in the bag yet, but it's going to be some stuff in the swag bag. But you also get admissions because of a relationship that Ron had with the museum. He was able to negotiate us being able to take part in the exhibits. So, in 2 huge exhibits. I was there in Detroit last week and I went. I was like, oh my God, this is really nice. So let me see if I can show you. So it's going to be the, here we go. All right. So right there, it's going to be the King Tut Museum. The King Tut exhibit. Yeah, and it came back right there. Wonderful things from the Pharaoh's tomb. And we also get, while you're there, you can also look at this one, which is the And Still We Rise. And this one was nice too. The museum is beautiful. It is such a place that you just yes. So you can put on your glad rags. Do people say glad rags anymore? I think they do in Detroit. They should say glad rags. I don't know whatever happened to glad rags. But you can put on your glad rags, come on out with us on Saturday night, and we are going to be partying. And the Charles Wright Museum is beautiful for anybody who, if you haven't seen it, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. The outside, the inside, the rotunda, that's where we're going to be hanging out at. It's going to be real nice. And plus all the panelists will be there. So super important, that you guys support. And, this is a fundraiser for us so that we can start putting together tangible things for people to really understand this idea of economics, because our financial stability, we start off, the HAPI film starts off with Professor Small saying that we put $1.3 trillion into the community. No, not into our community. We just we spent $1.2 trillion. And so, we don't have, where's this money going? And so we've really got to look at that and really start to change some things. And so that's what our HAPI movement is about. And this fundraiser is going to help us with achieving those goals. So thank you.
Yeah, and I was I'm part of the I was part of the group that's going to Egypt, and we were supposed to go obviously back then. You mentioned that already. I was all set to go and everything, and this conference, that unfortunately got postponed. For unfortunately, but fortunately for me, it's now in my hometown. And so that's what's sort of enabling and sparking me to do something like this. And I have a very, very strong relationship with the museum. I'm part of a team that we throw basically one of the biggest parties in Detroit, the Kentucky Derby event. We have that at the museum, and if you buy a VIP ticket to that, you get a 1-year membership to the museum, and we gave them about 160 memberships.
Wow,
So they love us at the museum. So it's just one of the many things that I'm into, that I do, but yeah, no, I have a good, strong relationship with the museum. So I'm just very, very happy to be doing this in my hometown to roll out the red carpet for these distinguished elders and guests.
Yeah, this is really cool. Yeah.
And Still I Rise. I mean, that's the permanent exhibit. And the Smithsonian Museum in DC is kind of the new talk of the town, but before that one came, everyone was talking about the Charles Wright in Detroit. And we've got in the And Still I Rise exhibit, there's like a life-size slave ship, bottom of a slave ship there. I mean, it's just a replica of the Door of No Return that's in Goree Island, which I've been to probably like 8 or 9 times. I've been to Goree Island like 8 or 9 times.
Yeah, I went this summer.
Yeah.
That was very interesting.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing for the Saturday night of the gala. So again,
thank you.
I'm happy to be doing that, and I can't wait.
Yay! All right, so I see that someone's asking about Mfundishi. So yes, we are hoping that Mfundishi can join us a little bit later, because he had a prior engagement that he forgot. Let me tell you, some of these elders, they need like private assistance to just help them keep all their things together, because everyone is like getting them to be on this show, to talk about this, to do this, to do that. And so he has been running and running and running. And so we hope that, some wires got crossed up, but we hope that he's able to join us tonight. All right. So, and we also have King Simon's going to join us in a few minutes. But before I bring him on, I just wanted to, I first want to talk about, we're going to kind of change the order a little bit. Okay. I just want to first talk about your book. Okay. And then I want you to talk about all the work that you're doing, because that's another piece. When we say it all the time, and I remember I used to talk to Dr. Rashidi. I don't know why I keep bringing him up tonight, but one of the things that we always talked about was this whole idea of like talking. And he would say it too, after he would give do a webinar, and he would say all these things. But then, he was like, we need to form groups. We need to do this. We need to do that, because it's always about the action piece. So you're feeling good sitting and listening, but then it's like, well, how can you actually do something? And we can't do everything, right? But everybody can do something. And even if you can't do, like something that maybe like what Ron's going to share with you tonight, you can always contribute to people who are doing stuff. A few dollars go a long way. Like we love cash. Like, let me tell you, let me just put it up right now. Our little Cash App. We love the HAPI Love. And we actually took that from King Simon. King Simon always talks about, like the little Love Cash App. So we took that straight from him right there. Show your happy love. So, but I don't think that you guys really understand, like when you contribute to, to us, we put this money right back into the community, but it also funds what we're about, which is about the power of unity. And it's also about us, developing economic prowess so that we can be financially independent, because it's very, very super important. So so it's about the action, and you'll see Ron is doing a lot of action. He's mild mannered, but he's doing a lot of action over there in the D. All right. So can you first just bring, talk about your book first? Tell us the title of your book. I think I have a copy of it. And okay, yep, there you go. This is an interesting concept.
Lives.
Yes, and let me tell you, Kaba does his introduction, and shout out to Philippe Matthews, Rev Shock. He also does the forward. Is it the forward and introduction? It's kind of like the same thing. They introduce the book, which is so. I'm just telling you, so he come from good peoples. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm blessed to have Rev Shock do the introduction. I have a ongoing show on his platform, The Physicist and the Metaphysicist, As Above, So Below, where we break down African sacred science and the laws of physics tied to African sacred science and spirituality. So that's an ongoing show that I have with Rev Shock on his platform. So yeah, he did the forward to the book, but Baba Kaba Hiawatha Kamene did the introduction. And back in the day, that's like John Henrik Clark doing your introduction.
Absolutely. I was reading, I had to go back. I said, wait, huh? I said, wait, is this Kaba? I was like, that's what's up. Like, that's dope.
Getting that phone call was just unreal. I mean, I was just like, duh. That was pretty dope. So I've been on the show with Kaba, but still having that type of connection and him, doing the introduction to the book is, it's sort of like, you say mild manner, but that's validation right there. And so, this subject matter, Black, everybody knows about Black Lives Matter, but I changed the words around to Black Matter Lives, and it's manifesting change using the laws of physics, our minds, and the power of the spoken word. So, as you mentioned in the intro, I'm a spoken word artist as well, because vibration is everything, and the power of the spoken word is the power of vibration and manifestation. And so, when you think about Black Lives Matter, the mission of Black Lives Matter is to, eradicate white supremacy and police brutality. But a lot of that is sort of from a position of trying to find others to validate you and to prove to other people that our lives matter. Whereas we have everything that we need right between our ears, right here in our dark matter, in our Black matter lives. So, it's a play on the word lives, lives, spelled the same way, pronounced differently. And then when I was on a YouTube show doing talking about the book, you talk about manifestation. During that show, just something came to me, because a lot of people says Black Matter Lives. That doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? It's Black Matter Lives, I should say. Doesn't make sense. Black Lives Matter, change the word. It's Black Matter Lives, because we're talking about a rising of us. And so what I did was I actually put what LIVES, love increases your vibration to destroy the epigenetic signal. So that's what the LIVES kind of breaks down. But the first chapter in the book is just that great awakening. It's that age of Aquarius, sisters like you. It's the sisters' turn to take over. And it's already happening. The ancestors are connecting with us in a special way right now. I can feel their energy. I can feel their vibration on a global scale. I'm usually on Andrew Muhammad's platform in Europe and Dr. Tata's platform. There's just a lot of knowledge and manifestation coming right now. So I kind of talk about that in the first chapter. It's just a global call to action. Yeah, and then on a national and global scale. So we need to prepare for this next movement. And then I get into this whole Sankofa experience, and that's where I break down my Sankofa model, which deals with that knowledge of self. So once you get that knowledge of self, it's a wonderful thing, but you can't stop there. The next phase is that spirituality, that African sacred science, and understanding how to leverage that and understand and house that. But then you have those obstacles that are just pulling you back, that epigenetics things that the colonization, the slavery, the problems with relationships, the problems with raising kids, the problems with all of that, and that's really affecting our quality of life. And so that this battling, that's that force battling. And I use the laws of physics because with the spirituality, it's, you know, the energy cannot be destroyed or created. It just changes form. And then the law of physics for those obstacles is for every force, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So that's why we have this stalemate, and we're not making progress, or we can't get past the talk, because our lives are still being impacted by this. And so that's where the manifestation has to come in, because you have to elevate your consciousness beyond that three-dimensional plane into that fourth dimension in order to start to really see the self-improvement that we need, that can manifest through a lot of the different things that we're going to talk about tonight. And so I break down the laws of physics as it relates to that Sankofa experience, and including the God Almighty Grand Unified Theorem. Einstein died trying to do the theory of everything, and a brother from Nigeria finished the equation, the Gagut equation. And so I'm going to break that down, as well. So because you have to, it's an equation. Like you said, I have my degree from Morehouse is in physics, and so I had classes in the fourth dimension, special relativistic electrodynamics, and the prerequisite for that is mathematical physics. And so you have to understand the math in order to travel faster than the speed of light, and that's where that manifestation, that black matter, occurs in that fourth dimension, and that's that Noon, Ptah, and Atum. You have to understand that. So I break all that down in the book, and I'm going to be doing a webinar series next month as well to kind of break it down even further. But the Black Matter Lives is all about that.
And you know what, family? I am someone's asking about the book, and it's up on the screen, but I'm actually going to put in the webinar series and the links for the book in the chat. Okay, that way you can just click the link and get to it. And you know what? I'm sorry. And you know, one thing that you said that kind of I was like, oh wait, I need to bring in King Simon, because this is something. Anytime I start hearing about dimensions, okay, this is the first cat who I know that started talking about, you know, all these little dimensions. And I was like, well, damn, I'm having a hard time. This is the dimension we in. And he was like, no, sometimes you got to go to this dimension over here. I said, well, how do you get there? And even Mfundishi talks a lot about that. And I'm like, well, you know, you guys just kind of just saying it like it just so happens. And it's like, oh, you just go. You just pop on in there and you get on this level. So I'm going to bring in King Simon, who was like our numerovation specialist, on hand. If he knows every single person's birthday and what it means, everyone's number, you can't have a conversation without King Simon, without him first saying, oh, such and such, he's a number 8, blah, 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 blah. Every single person. I've never heard him not say that. So Ron, you're going to have to, make sure you tell him.
I'm a master builder 22.
My brother,
I'm 22, brother Simon. I'm 22.
Oh,
master builder.
Brother Rod, thank you very much. Matter of fact, I just ordered your book. I've been hearing about you, and I've been watching you on Shock, Reverend Shock's platform, because I love anything dealing with mathematics, physics, all that stuff. And I'm honored to be here, honored to be before you, my brother, and of course, you, beautiful sister, always. You see the shirt I got? Yes, I am. That's what we do.
Okay, all right, there it is.
I'm manifesting.
Yes. Now, well, you know what's? Wait, King Simon, you sound kind of far away.
Okay, can you hear me better now? Can you hear me better?
Yeah, when you're sitting closer, I can definitely hear you better.
I'll come closer. Yes, yeah, because I'm using my computer mic.
Okay, so I just got a question. And Ron, you alluded to this, getting onto this other dimension. Do you have to be on the fourth dimension to be able to manifest? And can you? Well, no. Let's just take a step back. What is manifestation?
Wow. So, King Simon, you want to take that one, or you want me to?
I mean, you can start off, but from the what I do as far as a numerovator, I try to use the numbers from a metaphysic and esoteric perspective to help people to activate their numbers and then manifest what they want. So that's my job, especially coming from my teacher Lloyd Strayhorn and all the great ones that I've studied with the numbers. And you know what happens? A lot of people think their purpose is a job description. No, you take your purpose into whatever job and business that you have. So let's say I'm born the 1st of February, which deals with that one energy, which deals with the creative energy. So I take my creative attitude to whatever job I've been in. When I've been on radio, on WWRL radio in New York, when I've been on television, I took that creative aspect to it. So you just said master number 22, which is the master builder, master architect, the one who intuitively, masterfully builds from within to bring out the higher realm of who you are on a physical perspective. So that's the different levels I understand the numbers of manifestation. And remember, the root word of manifestation is to manifest, bringing something out of something, bringing it into this realm. We already have the blueprint within us. Some of us need to write it down and plan what we need to do. Exactly. That's why I wrote my book, my brother. That's why I wrote my book.
And I need a book. I ain't got nothing hanging. I ain't got nothing show.
That's why I wrote my book.
I gotta get the HAPI DVD.
No, that's exactly right. And so in the book, I talk about the 7 stages of manifestation, and the first 3. That's when I talk about that 3-dimensional space. It's that the first 3. The first is gratitude. The first step is gratitude. Okay, because there are certain things that have happened in our lives that we had nothing to do with. We've made the home that I just happened to grow up in Detroit in a loving household with a black mother and a black father in a black town with black people and with black elementary school, a black middle school, an all black high school, and went to a black college. I mean, I've just been black, blackity black. And it's a beautiful thing, right? So gratitude for those positive circumstances. Everybody is not as fortunate as that. And I understand that and realize that. But there's something about your life that is great that you have to just show gratitude for that. The second step is you kind of have to have some perspective on those negative circumstances, that you had nothing to do with, or some bad choices. So you have to kind of come to peace with that. And then that third step is embracing your current quality or accepting your current quality of life. So that's those are those first 3 levels. We're not at the manifestation yet. Okay, this is that 3-dimensional plane that I'm talking about. So that's just sort of like the Black Lives Matter. Okay, because we have to help the people who are struggling the most. So now that 4th level, that's where we start, the waters of noon. Okay, and the Ptah and the Atum. That's the 4, 5, 6 right there. So obviously, when you manifest into that 4th dimension, the waters of noon, things are going to start changing. You're going to start seeing people come into your life, just like the story that you told about how you and Taki met. It's not a coincidence. Things like that are going to happen, and when they happen more often, you just kind of laugh. Because it's like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. And now it happens more often. So it's just mind, idea, manifestation. The things that's going on in your head, it's going to start to come into fruition. Okay. And then so that's that 4th step. And that 5th one is the Ptah. The 4th, the waters of noon is the matter of all things. So it all starts with the matter, black matter. And then the Ptah is the energy of all things. And that's that power of the spoken word and that vibration. So now you have the energy to start to create the type of existence that you want. So now you get to become a bit of a creator, right? And then that 6th part is the Atum, and that is the creative energy. That's where you can really start to manifest that oneness with the divinity that's within all of us, right? So you don't need to have classes in mathematical physics. That's just how I'm able to break down the Gagut equation, because it's tensors, it's 4th dimensional tensors. And so when I do the webinar, I'm gonna break it down in April. But then see, that's that unity of yourself. Now you are a walking creator, right? But the But the seventh step, the most important, is the unity.
Yes.
And that's when you can manifest globally with others. So now we can be connected with folks across the pond, everywhere. And that's when our frequency level is so strong.
Yeah.
Now we can start to manifest change on a global level. We got to start with ourselves.
Yes. Yeah.
But then when you get to that highest form of unity,
yes. And
as above, so below becomes real.
You know what he said when you were speaking about Gabriel Oyibo, Dr. Gabriel Oyibo, who I had the opportunity to actually speak to over the phone due to Clemson Brown, brother Clemson Brown, who's a good friend of his. And his energy is so profound when you speak to him, that Nigerian brother, and he drops a lot of wisdom. And, you know, they try to take his life, I think, once or twice in New York. And just because of that, him proving the Einstein theory to be a theorem, you know, proving what it is, you know, and, you know, they don't want, of course, they don't want, and they don't want our people to really get it or be able to expose it, but they can't stop it. They can't stop what we got. And what you was just saying in numerology, that's exactly what the climb is of every number. When you started saying each one of them, I can relate it to everything that you just said as far as numbers is concerned, because numbers, I tell people, are just like a GPS. It's here to triangulate what's going on in your life to take you to the next level, but don't worship it, but use it as that guiding apparatus. And that's what I see that you do on Shock's, Reverend Shock's thing. I'll be listening, brother. I'll be paying attention to all of you great brothers doing. I'm just honored to be right here with you and Sister Felicia right now.
Awesome.
You know what? Yeah. That's funny. I said it right when we got started. I was like, have you been on King Simon's show? Because you know, you guys you both like, you know, King Simon would say some stuff that be blowing your mind. You'd be like, wait, what?
I'm humbled. Believe me, I'm always a student, because I never lost. I want nobody call me no master numerologist, none of that stuff. I'm always a student, because
always a student.
That's how I created the word numerovation, because it represents numero and vation from motivation from my lessons under Les Brown back in 2005, studying with him for a whole month, and then studying numerology since 89 with Lloyd and all the rest of them. And then I put numerovation, put it in the lexicon dictionary, so it should show up in the next 5 years. And I just to show people that it's not just about numerology, the study of numbers, but how you activate it and stay motivated with those interpretations. Because like I said, if you say master number is the 22, which is the master builder, how do you unpack that? How do people live in that? Because most people that I've done thousands of readings or thousands of breakdowns, people with 22 and 11 and 33, they suffer a lot because they don't understand how to use their mastery. And because with great power comes great responsibility. And that's why you got to learn how to use it. And that's what I call it.
I call it a great merit. I mean, for me, you know, I when I do a little self-reflection, and I try to process what happened, what just happened over these past several years. How did this happen? How did this come to existence? And I start my introduction to the book by saying I'm experiencing a wonderful marriage between the left hemisphere of my brain and the right hemisphere. Okay, because you know, I have background in physics and engineering, but I make my living writing. I've transitioned to the arts, right? And that's what Baba Kaba says is that's the highest form of a tomb is manifested through the arts. That's how, when you look at the pyramids and the Tekken, it's symbols that tell stories through art. The Shabaka stone is art; it tells stories, and so it's like, okay, well, I guess that's just how it was meant to be for me. But then when I did my reading in terms of the Master Builder 22, I was just like, okay, well, I guess that I guess that says it.
It tells it all.
I don't need to guess where this came from. Now it was just sort of meant to be, and we all have our place. Like you said, we all have our purpose, we all have our place, we all have our divine assignment. But we have everything that we need in us.
Exactly.
We don't need to be validated. You know.
No, I love it. I love it. Go ahead, sister. I'm sorry.
So when you talk about like these 7 steps to manifesting, right?
Right.
How long does one take in each of these steps?
Of course.
Yeah,
And you're like,
I mean,
how do you get to the next step? I mean, yeah.
well, obviously meditation is
Yep.
a very, very, I mean, you have to block out the outside world.
Mhm. Mm.
And so I know you talk about your altar, or your black room, or have your crystals, your incense, whatever it is, your picture of grandma, whatever that is in your altar or your black room that connects you with your ancestors. But you got to have that meditation game type, because this world that we live in is full of distraction, is full. So there's no one answer for that, Felicia. It depends on how well you can block out the noise and the obstacles, because everybody is hit differently. And so that's why in my webinar series, I'm giving people all of my spoken word meditations, guided meditations based on what you're dealing with, to kind of help you get that gratitude, and to help you plan for that future and accept your reality. And then, because you can't skip, people want to skip the steps. They want to go straight from step one. They're like, man, I want to go straight to the waters of noon. Bruh, you can't
No,
do that. It don't work like that. It's layers to this, and you can't cliff note your way to manifestation. You have to and so that's why I give all of my spoken word vibrations in this webinar series, through my spoken word, and I put a little house music in the background and things like that. That's how we do here in Detroit. Gotta have house music, but that African drum is all in that house music.
All in there.
And so you have to have the right things to kind of help push you into that fourth dimension. And so that's the power of the spoken word, the rhythm of the African drum, and the ability to quiet your mind through meditation, to kind of embrace all of the drama and stuff that's affecting our quality of life right now, our relationships, our kids, our parents. I was dealing with some stuff this with my father, with trying to learn Cash App, and anyway, I'm not going to get into it. There's always some outside stuff that's really eating away, and we have to just be able to have our own little quiet time. So long answer to your question, Felicia, but it's a process. But if my spoken word and my voice and the vibration from my voice can accelerate your manifestation, that's where it comes in. That's where that's what you can do to help accelerate it and get more serious.
If you don't mind me adding on a little to that, my brother.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I was given this book years ago by my father's family, The Silver Mind Control Method. Brother, this is a Spanish guy born on August the 11th under a master number. And that was one of the great programs back in the day, up to this day. And one of the basic forms of meditating, he said in this particular book, is counting backwards from 100. Just counting backwards, because you're learning to focus and silence everything out and just focus on the numbers. 11, 98, 7, you're counting back. It's just like back in the day, you used to say count sheets before you go to sleep, to try to get you to sleep, trying to relax your mind and focus your mind so it can go and drift off into that lucid dream or to those ancestral connections. And that's what's important. So, when I do with numerovation, I try to show people that they can use their numbers as an apparatus. So like Felicia is born on the 27th, I will tell her, 27 is your number that you can use. And that even the tone of the word 27 is a tone. It is a frequency. And if you learn to use it and use the interpretation of it, which in compound numerology, the 27 is the number of creativity and productivity. And in order for you to reap the harvest of it, you have to be creative and productive. So what you do, you unpack the word, meditate on the word creativity, unpack it, break down the dictionary meaning of it, unpack the word productivity, break down the dictionary meaning, and because if those creative aspects and those productive aspects are working together in unison, then you reap the harvest. So what is harvest after you've done your creative work and your productive work? You still have to unpack it. It takes time, and you got to be willing to put in that work. It's not microwave, family. You didn't come out of your mama microwave. This don't work like that. So we have to put in that work.
Yes. Sometimes I'll be trying to get the Cliff Notes. I try to get the Cliff Notes wrong. I do. I call.
We all try.
All of
Let me
us.
tell you, I call King Simon all the time. I'm like, damn this meditation. I was like, all I do is I be sitting there thinking about, damn, I got to go to the grocery store. I got to order this fresh direct. I got them damn kids. Like, it's a whole bunch of stuff I'm going, also that's what I'm always asking him, because it seems like he can just fluently go from one plane to another. Like, but I know that I understand that there's, like that didn't happen overnight for him. And it takes a minute. But I want to read something that Kaba said that I thought was interesting. I just want you to comment on. He says that the concept of Black matter lives is a comprehensive blueprint to reclaim the most precious thing we have that was stolen from us, our time. So you talked about making a time. Can you just kind of elaborate a little bit? Well, I mean, you can elaborate what you feel when you heard that, but really also like this idea of time, and how does that fit in when we're talking about physics, or does it?
Yeah, no, that so when you get into that fourth dimension, the class that I had on mathematical physics, mathematical physics was the prerequisite. The special relativity class that I had, that's basically time. You see those, you've heard that thing where you see two twins and one of them goes up in a rocket and the other one stays on Earth, and the rocket is traveling the speed of light. When it returns to Earth, those two twins are no longer the same age. Right. That's because time changes when you travel the speed of light. Right. And what has happened, and I've talked about this because since I've been to Goree Island like 8 times, the emotions that I have every time I go, I look at all the different time that we have lost, the 400 years. And you just like, man, we have lost this time. But you know what? When you in the Black matter, when you travel the speed of light, which we can do in our minds, basically the speed of what's faster than the speed of light? Darkness. The darkness in our minds. And so the time collapses, right? And so, once you achieve that manifestation, the time it took you to get there does not matter anymore, because now you're at that creative force. You have the creative force on your side and you can make things happen. Right. And so the time stands still. So that is that fourth dimension, is time, and so that's where Kaba was saying in space and time. And that is part of the Gagut equation as well, in terms of the tensor physics of understanding the God Almighty Grand Unified Theorem, which is the first webinar. I'm gonna break all of that down in terms of the, but anyway, it's the time is that fourth dimension, and that's where that fourth step is, and that's that's the waters of noon, and then that fifth is the patah. That's the spoken word and the vibration and stuff like that. Where you can have that energy, because the African sacred science is about the energy. Right. But you have to kind of get back to those waters of noon first, and that's that time and the matter.
Now, Brother Ron, do you have Gabriel or Evo's number?
I do not.
I'm gonna see if I can get it for you, my brother.
Okay, that'll be awesome.
I think you could help him, because he'd be proud to hear what you're saying. Everybody's been trying to knock him down. I even asked Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he basically knocked down that theory and try to knock it out. But I know what he's supporting, so I know what it is. So I left him alone.
I addressed some of that in my webinar, talking about Gagut. That's gonna be the first one. The Gagut breakdown is gonna be the first webinar in April 6th.
No, I think you'll love to have him or connect with him. And like I connected Brother Kaba with Ron Lax, Henrietta Lax's grandson, and he had a great conversation. So I like to connect people, like Queen of Four says. I like to connect people, and we can exchange numbers at the end. But I connect and make sure, because I think because he's getting older, and after people trying to take this man's life numerous times and all that, he's to himself, and it's just so hard he needs that type of information to keep on coming out from your perspective, from his. Everybody needs to contribute to this greatness, because it's ours. So
absolutely.
Yes, sir. Yes,
yeah.
Sir.
I appreciate that.
No problem, brother. Yes.
Yeah. So just for a minute before I go back to question you about your book, the webinar. So how long is a webinar and when does it happen?
So it's a four-part webinar
Okay.
series, right? And it's going to be every Wednesday in the month of April. So April 6th will be the first one. Each webinar is 2 hours long. The first one is on the Gagut equation. So I'm going to break down the mathematical physics of Gagut and put it into the perspective and context of Black Matter Lives. And then everybody who attends or everybody who purchases the webinar series, that one, they're going to get the audiobook version of Black Matter Lives, of my book. It's beautiful to read a book, right? But the vibration comes from hearing me recite it. Especially, there's a lot of poetry in the latter part. That's part of the manifestation, is the spoken word. So you get the audiobook version of my book through if you buy the webinar. The second webinar is April 13th. That's the second Wednesday, and that's going to be the Sankofa experience. So I'm going to break down those 7 steps to achieve Kepra through the Black Matter Lives. So it's going to be a breakdown of that, but more importantly, you're going to get all of the spoken word meditations to deal with all the aspects of life that's keeping us back: our parents, our belief system, education, hobbies, sex, drugs, violence, marriage, children, career, health, retirement, lifestyle, retirement, and our legacy. There's meditations on all of that. Whatever it is that you're dealing with, there's meditations to help you move that. And then I have the spoken word over house music, which I call the primordial waters of noon, by the way. So that's the ma'at and the noon and a lot of the African drum. So you're going to get all of that spoken word to help accelerate your manifestation. And then the third webinar, April 20th, is going to focus on the youth, African rites of passage. So I'm gonna break down my whole break down my African rites of passage program and all of and then you're going to get the curriculum. You're going to get the curriculum.
Oh, listen to this webinar.
I know.
Family. Listen, I've been putting it in the chat. Please sign up for this webinar. This is a lot of stuff. But this also talks about this whole action. We're just not about talking. You get a foundation, but then you have to actually do these things.
And that's where that master builder comes in, because I've been busy manifesting, and now it's a matter of getting it out there, because that's just what I'm meant to do, right? Exactly. And that fourth one, though, that's the one that's gonna kill the ladies and the fellas, because it's love. Okay, we have to deal. Okay, we got the youth for the third one. Now we got to deal with the reunification of that male and female energy. So I get a little erotic. I got some erotic poetry in there too, and I got some manifestation poetry, love and marriage, and then the reunification for the singles to get their stuff together and get that energy so you can attract. And then us as fellas, and I know King Simon can understand and appreciate this, we have to deal with the female energy within us.
That's right.
Because you can't manifest without that. If you're in conflict as men with the female energy within us, that's part of the manifestation.
That is right.
Is understanding that part and embracing that part, especially with this age of Aquarius coming. So the fourth webinar is going to focus on spoken word with love and marriage and reunification of male and female energy.
So now I got a question. When you talk about this manifestation, is it, like some people, like you're talking about, manifesting using spoken word, using your voice, using the vibration, the energy from that. Are there different ways to manifest? And does everyone tend to kind of not do it the same way, but is there a universal way? I guess that's a better question. Is there a universal way to manifest? Because, I've always heard a lot of times people are like, okay, write down what it is, or you do a vision board. And then, and then after that, you kind of go on about your life and don't think about it. When you're manifesting stuff, are you constantly thinking about it, or are you already just thinking that it's already done?
Now, can I say something about that, if you don't mind?
No, King Simon, you can't be on our show and talk.
I'm having fun, So what is interesting about that? I tell people a lot that you got to go with what you feel, because when logic ends, this is what I heard Sister Myra says. When logic ends, that's when the feeling takes over. That's when the masculine logic, the feminine feeling. When that ends, although you need the both of them, when that ends and you have already outthought of it, now you need to feel it. So not everybody is going to do the Om meditation. Not everybody's going to do those different types of things. Some people find their peace in their meditation and manifestation from the first time they go into their sleep state. You might find it in your dream state. That's why I tell people to study astro travel and different types of things, because you might find it in those things. I have a journal right next to my bed just in case an ideal pops in. And what's so interesting, recently, I was wondering, I was about to film a television show for Brother Billy Carson on Forbidden Knowledge TV. And and the night before I was about to film, I'm there running in my head, what I'm going to say, what I'm going to say, what I'm going to say. And my spirit said, just be yourself. And sure enough, when I went in there and started filming, I just could not stop teaching. I just started being myself, having fun, enjoying, and just dropping. He said, Simon, you're the only one that came in and knocked out 8 episodes, 30-minute episodes in 2 days, and knocked it out, just kept it moving. And he said, because you know what you're saying. I said, believe me, I was overthinking. And once you learn to not think and feel what you got to do, watch what happens. And a lot of people, because of the distractions, we forgot how to do the balance and how to feel and become it. It's just like doing martial arts with blindfold. We start when Dr. Powell and Soaking Little John used to throw us and show us how to, after that, you feel it. Now you know the basics. You know what to do. I can close my eyes and hit somebody. You know what I'm saying? Now I can do it because you know the basics of and I tell people all the time, master your basics. Master the basics. Because the basics is just like it's just like musical notes. Just like musical notes. All you have to do is know the musical notes, and you can play any music anywhere in the world, reggae, anything, all of that.
Okay.
I know it's a lot.
No. I'm gonna stop you right there, Simon. Okay, and you know what? Shout out to Emily. I like what she's saying. Let me put it up here. She says it. Okay. Now, for people who are not so good at manifesting or letting go, okay, I am a Virgo, and this whole idea of just, let it, just feel it, it's gonna happen. Okay, so that's not my reality, and I would probably, I don't know if there's anybody else in the chat feel like that's not the reality. Just go ahead and give a little, or something in there, because the truth of the matter is that Ron talked about it. He said all these things that can get in your way of you manifesting it, right? Of you just letting go. So what is it? Or is it I'm trying to figure out what is it that can help you to kind of flip that switch where you just have to be like, it's going to be what it's going to be. Because sometimes, I am saying that, right? And, I'm not just making this like my own personal session with you guys. I'm talking for the people right now, okay? Like sometimes people may feel it and they say it, but they haven't really made the jump to actually just let it go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to figure out
the hard part. I won't call it hard. The tricky part is it hits you. It finds you. You don't find it. It's easy to kind of say, yes, my purpose is going to be to do blah, 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 blah. And, we have a saying, men make plans and God laughs, it finds you and it hits you. And when it hits you, like King Simon said, you're just gonna start producing things. The output is just gonna hit, and you're just in a flow. Now, here's the funny story of how where I started writing. You're gonna crack up at this story. Morehouse man, world traveler. I'm on an airplane, a management consultant. You're on an airplane every week dealing with clients, right? So when you travel every single week, you rack up a whole lot of frequent flyer miles. And so, I'm riding first class. So you get upgraded free to first class. So I'm riding first class every week. Morehouse man, I'm up here, laptop, you got a lot of room, you can just do things, right? This is where I'm supposed to be, right?
Exactly.
When Northwest Airlines got bought by Delta, my frequent flyer status went in the toilet, and I had to start riding coach again. And it sucked. I'm in the back. I'm in this little itty bitty chair.
Yeah,
The guy in front of me is reclined. I can't do anything. All I had room to do was to write in a journal.
Yes.
And I'm sitting in that seat, strapped in next to the engine, hearing the hum of the engine, up in that altitude. You're trying to sleep, but you're not really asleep.
Exactly.
I drifted into a meditative stance on every flight, woke up and just started writing. Most of the stuff that's in here came from meditating on airplane rides over the years.
Yep.
And that's just where, and after it, one journal turned into 3 and 4, and now there's volumes of material.
That's right.
And it's all manifested. I could have never predicted something like that would happen. So it's a God's funny sense of humor type story, but when it hits you, it hits you. Whenever I try to write something, I force it, it's crap.
Yeah.
When it happens naturally, I look at the stuff I wrote 20 years ago, and I'm like, damn, I wrote that.
Yes.
It doesn't even sound like me. And so that's where you know where it came from.
Yes.
And you just pay the homage to where it came from.
And on that note, I wrote my first book constantly more on the trains of New York. In the midst of the noise, I was able to shut down the noise and just write. The first time of my book, No Promotion is Bad Promotion, I had somebody question me, and then we transcribed it. And then I said, you know what? I got to write the rest of this. So I just did part of it. And then I said, you know what? I was able to find peace on a New York train station. Y'all know what that is? If you ever been on a New York train, that means I was able to, because that's why I said, you know, meditation could be whatever it is for anybody. Some people can meditate in a helicopter. Some people can meditate while they're in the car. Some people meditate on. Although we listen to other people and tell you what meditation is, you got to remember, you got to gravitate with what worked for you. And because I grew up in New York, traveling the trains, trying to get to the club, get to this place, I was able to find my peace in that one seat to always just write down from pen to paper, write wherever I go. And then of course, at night in the silence of 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, you keep on. That's when you start to edit and you start to reread and start focusing. But I'm telling you, family, all of us have it in us. And when you said Virgo, because in numerology, Virgo is connected to that number 5, that's that scattered energy. But maybe your scatteredness is your meditation. Who's to say? That's when you pull out of it. You pull from it still, because you get things from it still and still manifest from it.
Yes. Okay. So we're talking about a couple of things. So when Ron is telling this story, but when we're talking about manifesting, is manifesting when you literally sit there and say, I want to create something.
That afro you got.
This afro, this is always an afro before wash day. Okay, all the girls in the chat understand this. Okay, this is like a regular Black girl hair rules right here. You always have the afro because you can't do nothing with your hair right now because it's just sitting out like this. It's not moving. So now the only thing you can do is put water.
It looks good.
Water. Yeah, that's the only thing. And then it would be different. But my thing is like, okay, so when Ron is giving this example,
yes.
Is that manifestation, or is that's just something? I mean, did you at some point just consciously say, "Hey, you know, I really want to write this book"? Did you say that, or did your subconscious say that?
Yeah, it's not me. It's not me. You things are happening. It's like I'll be somewhere. Like I was waiting on I was in Houston for a conference, and I'm sitting. And this brother moves my bag. and I went over, you know, and I'm just like, bro, that's my bag. He just wanted to sit down and watch the game, but I mean, you didn't have to touch my bag. And so it's almost confrontational, but I'm just like, bro, it's okay. Go ahead, sit down and watch the game. And we just ended up chopping it up. And this brother is a USC film student working on a movie about the life of Mansa Musa. What are the odds?
Exactly.
And that brother's from Detroit.
Exactly.
And then so I get up to board the flight and he's not getting up. I'm like, well, you're not coming home? He's like, no, I'm going to such and such. I'm like, well, why'd you sit here? So when things like that happen, and they happen all the time now for me, that just lets me know I was meant to talk to that brother.
Right.
You know, and so those are the types of things. But the main point is, if I put my mind to something and it doesn't necessarily work out that well, where things happen to me, like okay, so some of the manifestation I do is I do mission work in Africa, right? And we put in a $60,000 water system for a village in the Gambia, right?
Wow.
I never imagined that I would be doing that. That project just came to me because this village had a need. We adopted this village. They said they have a need. We found donations and did all of that. And then they wanted me to manage the project because just because I have a degree in physics and engineering, I was like, okay, I don't know nothing about water. It just came and it just got pulled off masterfully. I mean, and it's just, I just can't, I didn't do it. You know, it's a contractor. So I'm just kind of managing it. So I would have never guessed that I would be doing a project like that. And I love talking about things like that.
But okay. So what you're saying though, so it seems like a couple of things need to happen. So when, we don't really know when we're manifesting something, or we think we're manifesting something, but something else may be happening that's actually better for us, right? But then it seems like you also have to have a like courage, right? You got to have courage to actually go with it.
Yes.
It's like
initially, when you're first starting to manifest, it comes to you. But when you elevate yourself to that level of Kepra, then that's when you are at a point where you can start directing things and making things happen, right? Because now you're at the elevated point of love. You're at the elevated point where what you're doing is in alignment with love and ma'at and all of that.
Okay. So now I'm getting it. So what you're saying is that sometimes we're manifesting stuff that isn't really aligned with our purpose or what we need to be doing or with love.
It's just a good idea. I'm gonna save the dogs, rescue dogs.
Damn, I think I be manifesting a lot of little good ideas. That's why them shits happen. Okay, so then. But other better things happen. Because when I was thinking about that story, I was thinking about how I even came into existence with HAPI.
Right.
There's no way I was thinking about this.
You was walking up the street. Right.
Walking up the street. Sitting in my car. And so, but now, okay. So something inside of me, though, was trying to align themselves and manifest my purpose, my destiny.
Right. But what I've also discovered, people, we've been taught through television and other ways that this aha moment is like going to be angels and all this kind of stuff and light and all this bright light. But your aha moment started from even when you was a child. The first time you ever was able to tie your shoe and got it. I got it, Mom. Aha. First time I was able to hold my first bottle. I got it. Aha. Matter of fact, the first time you got pregnant, it's like, I'm pregnant. Aha! It's like, aha! Like you told. I
was like, aha! I waited so long. I waited a long time.
But you see, everybody, if you look at the minute and then lead the micro and then lead to the macro, you'll understand. You got to start from the micro because we all experience these different variations of aha. These moments of manifestation and making things happen. It's like when you want that shoe or that dress, you make sure you have the scenario to make sure you get that dress. Aha, you got the dress. But you already put it in your mind, manifest it in your mind. You already laying the blueprint in your mind. All right, I got to make this amount of money. I got to do this. I got to blah, blah, blah. I want to buy these things, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, you got this beautiful dress that costs $1,500 that you're going to keep in your closet and do whatever you're going to do. That's the form of manifestation. And all of us do it. We are all alchemists. We are all the magi's. It's just that we haven't really intentionally do it. We're not intentional with it. And that's
and with that power comes responsibility as
responsibility.
well, and that's why everybody just can't get there, and folks want to manifest the wrong things. I mean, you're focusing on money and things like that, and that's where, when I was in the village and we were doing the celebration for the water system, the elders and everybody was kind of making some speeches and what have you, but mine is the only one that got put on the news because what I said was that, so this is a Christian church helping a Muslim, doing God's work for God's people, one Africa, right? And so it's like they said, yeah, there you go.
Nice.
There you go.
I got to get this right. It's one Africa.
One Africa.
Every single time the HAPI Talks to one Africa, but go ahead.
So the thing that they did was, what I said was that, who cares about $60,000? I said the debt is paid, because every year we would bring boys and girls from Detroit and they would march into the bush with boys and girls from the village, right? And the elders would sit by the baobab tree and they would teach our kids rites of passage, manhood training, right? And you cannot put a dollar sign on that type of experience for these young boys from Detroit that we would take. That's why I've been to Goree Island so many times. We take a different group of boys each year to experience rites of passage with this village. Right. And so you put a dollar sign on that cultural experience for our kids. And now we've been doing that since the 90s. And so some of these boys now are grown men.
Yes.
And I interviewed them to say, what was that experience like? They have wives and family. Two of them went to Howard. One of them went to Morehouse, and now they're talking about how that trip when they were 13, the age of passage, now that they're in their upper 30s, they can process that trip and that experience. And to hear them talk about 20 years later, that trip to Africa and that manhood training ritual in the bush in the Gambia, I mean, that's where the debt was paid. It's and you only do things like that out of love. You don't want anything in return. Right. I don't want anything in return for sponsoring the gala at the Charles Wright Museum in Detroit.
You know what? Let me put a little plug in there, right there. Let me just put the little One Africa. Get your tickets, guys. It's been streaming down there. Another, that's another something I took from King Simon.
That's
right there, Africa. There's my One Africa. I'm telling you guys, get your tickets. Ron has, if you are just joining us, so Ron, him and I, we were talking, and it appears that I was going to have some type of bootleg event on the night of our first day of the conference, which will be April 30th. It's a Saturday. Then we were going to, put together a party for the elders. And, it was going to be, really, very nice and at a cabaret style type of, space. And I just happened to be talking to Ron about it. And Ron just happened to say that's inappropriate. And so following that, and which I love, because let me tell you, sometimes people will sit and say, you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that. They don't offer nothing. And one of our, in fact, I can announce this too, that our host for the One Africa conference will be Dr. Ken Harris. We are so excited about having Dr. Ken Harris. Yes, he is the president, CEO of the National Business League. He is doing fabulous things. There's only been 12 presidents in the whole history of the 100 years, and he's one, and he will be hosting our conference. One thing he said when I talked to him, he says a lot of things, and he too, I just get out the piece of paper as he's talking and I have to write things down, but he was saying it's about being a solutionary. A solutionaryist, right? Not a rep. You don't need to be, it's about coming up with solutions. And that's exactly what Ron did. So Ron, after he shot down my ideas and made me feel like they were nothing, he then said, but I got something for you.
Exactly. You got to feel for it.
Yes. And he was able to get the organization he works with, the church, to sponsor our entire gala and the fundraiser, which is really dope. So you know what? Also, can you Ron, can you talk about the pastor and his connection to all of this?
Well, Christian Adams is the pastor of the church, and he was at Morehouse when Sheikh Anta Diop in '85 when Sheikh Anta Diop got his honorary doctorate from Morehouse. I didn't get to Morehouse until 1987, so I missed that, unfortunately.
Wow.
But he was there, and so we're going to honor him. Now, his father was the pastor of the church, Charles Gilchrist Adams, when I was growing up, and he was on the board of trustees at Morehouse. And so, you know, I was sort of destined to go there. And as the Hosea says with Karinga, you honor, stay loyal to those who help you prosper. And so, you know, when I got woke at Morehouse, I kind of hesitated from going back to the church, because I was just like, I don't know, the church I grew up in, because I was like, man, this church ain't woke enough. But I found a program that I can blend all of this, and that is with this African ministry with rites of passage and doing all this mission work. And so now I lead that entire ministry, and we have a budget, and I can do with that budget what I want.
Actually, because, you know, and so that's another thing, because sometimes, you know, and not these conscious people that are in our chat right now, but some other conscious people, sometimes we can be kind of picky about where funds are coming from, or we want to say things, but we're really not kind of adding anything to it. But yet we're talking about, like, well, you know, this is a church and blah, 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 blah. But the reality is that churches are there to help people. Now, not all churches do that, right? Not all churches, you know, we not go front and say that they do. But I have to say, talking to some other people in Detroit and just mentioning, you know, this, you know, like the church that Ron is referring to, they were just like, yeah, they do stuff in the community. And that's what it's about. Bottom line is they're moving Black people forward. And that's what, you know, that's what HAPI's about. That's what King Simon, Ron, that's what we're about, moving Black people forward. And it's about the love, right? You know, manifesting that love in a real way.
Yeah, because see, that's where when you get to that higher level, then you do things for love, not for trading, for favors, for anything in return. Because that's the part that people don't get. When you rise to those levels, the more service work that you do, the people that you help, and when you do it out of love and not out of trading, that's where you, if you're trying to elevate, you have to do more work for people. You have to love. It's ma'at all day, all day ma'at. And so when you're manifesting that, so I can manifest a yacht, I can manifest a Bentley. That's not love, right? I manifest helping people. Okay, we took boys. The girls used to go to Kemet. That program was called Kentucky, based on the Candace Queens. They used to go to Kemet until tourism, you know, the same thing that, you know, blocked us from going a couple months ago started happening in the 90s. That's not nothing new. And so the girls started coming to West Africa with us, to the Gambia, right? And so we were taking boys and girls from Detroit to the Gambia for bush rituals. But we also just did a $10,000 solar energy system for Haiti just a couple of weeks ago.
Wow.
This is in the poorest of the poorest region. This will be their first time ever having electricity. And we made that happen, right? And then we're taking our entire Boy Scout troop to Africa in June.
Yeah, that's fire.
Wow.
These are Eagle Scouts.
Yeah, and let me tell you, it's about doing the work. It's about doing the work. You know, and the thing about it is, like, you know, maybe, you know, you're doing something else, you know, that's really, you know, that's your passion, and you maybe can't do what Ron's doing, but, you know, you could donate money to his organization to help him keep doing what he's doing, because it takes all of us to do this, right? Not one of us can do it. And that, again, these are just basic principles of our One Africa Power and Unity Conference. It's our basic principles at HAPI, and everyone that comes to our show, this is how they get down. And so, you know, I have to just go back to this conversation I had with Ron one more time, because one thing he said, I was like, oh my God, like, I just can't believe this is happening. He's like, oh, I'm manifesting. This always happens. I was like, oh, okay. You know, I'm sitting here like blown, like, oh my God, what just happened? But I think that's the piece, getting that manifesting fluidity, is that we really need to tap into, and then being open when it comes and being able to see it. because Queen of Four talked about when you're asking for stuff, but then you have to be able to like start opening your eyes and really pay attention to your life and see that the things that you're, that you're asking for, you have to see when they come, because they may not come the way you want them to, but they're coming. They come in a different way. So that's fire.
And that's why Queen of Four wrote that book, Impeccable Listening.
Impeccable Listening. It's an ebook.
You gotta listen it's from within. You gotta listen. It's impeccable listening, and then of course it's impeccable application, impeccable speaking, all of that. Oh yeah, heal thyself. I can reach for some books now. We be pulling out books all day.
Yeah, you know what they would now. I can reach for some books.
Don't start getting me going back to some books now.
I know. Matter of fact, I had this book ready that John Henry Clark did the opening right for Africa Counts. Because he did the opening introduction in this book, Africa Counts. And
I was ready for Mfundishi though, because this one right here, this was my rites of passage Bible right here.
Yes, and that's the thing. We're gonna have to catch up with little Mfundishi. You're gonna have to get back on here.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get at him in Detroit though.
Yes. Well, let me tell you, and I can talk a little bit about what Mfundishi was going to. I'm just gonna add on some things he was gonna say. So he's definitely gonna be at our One Africa conference. He has been down with us. In fact, HAPI, the movie, The Role of Economics in the Development of Civilization. It was when Taiki was thinking about this movie, he drew upon his teachers. His teachers were Mfundishi, who he did a movie with before called The Tekken, which we have on our website, and Dr. Jeffries and Professor Small. Those were his teachers, and they kind of helped him. Like in his mind, he came up with the structure for HAPI, but it was based off those three. And any time when we needed them to film something or to do whatever, these cats would just be like, okay, I'm there. They always showed up. Right. And so so I'm telling Mfundishi, I was like, look, Mfundishi, the One Africa, we're gonna be in Detroit now, blah, 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 trying to get it, he's like, oh, I'm driving up. Because, Mfundishi now has a line of clothing. I don't know if anybody knew, but, he's looking dapper. He's always looking dapper. And somebody came by and said, look, you looking dapper. You need to make these clothes. And so you can come by. When you come to the One Africa conference, we're going to not only have the conference on one floor, but we have a whole HAPI marketplace on another floor. Okay. Right. And Mfundishi's setting up his clothing. So you can get your glad rags from Mfundishi and head over to the gala that is sponsored by Ron and Hartford Baptist Church. I'm just saying. And
it was so funny with Mfundishi, you can actually send clothing to him like leather goods, and he'll put the Ankh on it, or he'll put the Janami symbol on it. He'll put all of that symbol, especially if you're thinking about throwing out something, he'll hook it up for you and you wear it again. That's how.
His stuff is fire. His stuff is
years. Yes.
Yeah, his stuff is definitely fire. Guys, right there, show your happy love via the Cash App, or if you're in the super chat, please donate, because this money helps us. It helps us in so many ways. You guys don't understand, when we have people doing graphic, like our graphic art stuff for us, when they're doing our flyers, because now we're in this massive, promotion for One Africa, One Streaming, because our goal is to get 1 million Black people on that live stream. And we know that this can happen, right? Because we're going to be getting, we talk about downloads. These elders can't wait to get that microphone. Okay. I mean, I feel like this is like a rap battle back in the 90s. They are, it's going to be it's going to be enlightening, to say the least, right? And so you want to make sure you're part of it. So, we've been doing all this promotion, but we're going to also be, in the streets in Atlanta, in California, Philly, DC, Houston, making sure everybody got flyers, and make sure that everybody gets signed up to register for this conference. It's going to be nice. And if you're in the area, just come through. We have a link, you can get your hotel. All of that is all on our website. So make sure, you guys are supporting, but definitely hit us up on the Cash App if you have it. You know, nothing's too small. We ain't picky. Throw a little cash app right there. And I also, I'm going to continue to put this brother's webinar onto in the chat, because this sounds really good. So one of the things I wanted to just ask, as we're winding down, you talk about this manifesting. So when you talk about collectively manifesting, right? Like, what does that look like? Like, what does that like physically look like?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess the best analogy I can give, when you look at it like, and I talk about this in the book, you look at the Tekken, right? The obelisk, it looks like an antenna, right? And then when you see these antennas, you know, like here in Detroit, we have our antennas for radio, but you can't hear that in California, right? Because it can only go so far, that frequency. But when you get into that black matter, the frequency expands. And so we can stay connected with folks in California, but also in the Caribbean, also in Africa, also in Europe. And so we can be connected if we elevate our consciousness and our frequency to connect with folks across. Now, what can that do from a vibration standpoint? It can be the difference from seeing a young brother walking by and you just see him and he feels your energy and you just give him a nod or at least say, I see you. Or it can connect with a sister who's standing in New York, a beauty queen on top of a building about to jump down and kill herself. You can connect with her and just send her some kind of emotional energy that says, sister, I see you. And that can stop her from doing that, right? Without saying a word. It's when we understand the power that we have when we get into that black matter, that dark matter.
That's right.
It's powerful. You know, because people need to know that you exist. People need to know we got you. We're part of the family globally. And so that's part of manifestation on a higher level. But you got to focus on yourself first. You have to elevate yourself first to be that creator. But then that last stage, that seventh stage, is that unity. That's when now it becomes collective, right? And so, you know, that's why I just sort of break down the laws of physics, you know, centrifugal and centripetal force,
right?
Internally first, but then externally, it's a force. Love is a force. It's the greatest force on the planet.
Brother Ron, can I ask you a question, Brother Ron?
Absolutely.
Would you say that the manifesting those obelisks and those pyramids was a form of manifesting, everybody coming together and manifesting it? Would you say that's a great example of manifestation, the pyramids of Giza and all throughout? What would you call those things after
at the highest level of you know, but I mean, it's sort of like, you know, I just remember and this is another love fest with Mfundishi, you know, because when I was at Morehouse, I took in addition to those physics classes and stuff like that, I was also taking metanetter classes at the Osiris Set Society in Southwest Atlanta. Wow. And so I was doing cosmology workshops. I was doing meditation workshops. And so I know and understand that when you get into sort of a cosmic level, I've witnessed when Brother Ra was coming and conducting a workshop, I saw a sister, she got up on the mic. It was like, this brother behind me was shaking me. I was like, he was like, wasn't nobody shaking you, sister? She was in that plane in meditation. And so you know, when you are connected with those ancestors and you're collecting that knowledge, you can do big things because they're teaching you how to do things. But you have to understand that you have that ability to connect with them. And that's what I'm feeling now. I'm feeling a sense of urge, a sense of unity now. We still got to get our ish together, but I'm feeling a sense of unity now. You know, I was on Dr. Tata's platform last week, you know, feeling that energy she loves my poetry, but, you know, and she wants me to do more love poems on her show. I'm like, okay,
I love
whatever you want, sister.
I love Susan Tata, and she's just like a Black woman you know, just like physically, the way she talks, like just all of that good stuff. Yeah, it's just real nice. Yeah, I was going to ask you, yeah, because somebody's asking about your book too, Mr. King Simon. So, so Ron, I mean, this has been, man, this has been so, it's been very enlightening, and I have, like, you sitting here saying the aha moments. I was like, oh, that's how that works, because this whole idea, I think that I'm getting caught up in this whole idea that that maybe, like, when you're manifesting something, I get caught up in how it's supposed to be, like how it's going to work out, and I sometimes can't see how it's going to work out. And therefore, because I can't see how it's going to work out, I probably stop it from working out the way it needs to work out.
I'm not going to talk about you, Felicia, but that you just want to control everything. You want to control everything. You want to know how it's going. Every detail.
I'm representing the chat. Okay, I'm just thinking these are some things that maybe perhaps the chat might feel.
The same thing. She want to know every single detail.
My sister's the same way as your Virgo, just like you.
Yeah, because you know what? Because all you guys just think that you can just, you just jump from here. Oh, I just feel it and it's happening. I'm good with it, and I'm sitting here like, how the hell that's going to happen? How we going to get from Z and we at A? So I really appreciate this dialogue with you guys, because, and I appreciate what people are saying in the chat, because it's so important, for us to get this. It's like you said, because once we can get it here, then we can get it globally and really start to change things, I
mean, One Africa, I mean, that it's for One Africa, that's what's going to happen. That's the blueprint. That's the blueprint. It's not, it's not the speeches. The speeches are going to spark you to action, but the manifestation really has to start with you.
Yes.
And then it can expand globally, because that way, it's coming from the right energy, the energy of Ma'at, as opposed to the energy of myself. You know what I mean? So that's kind of that's why you have to be a little bit careful with this.
Yeah, it seems like we may have to really start the conference off with just some meditation and manifesting, manifesting what we're about to hear, make sure that we are all in alignment with, or just being, just in a place where we can really receive. That's good. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Felicia, if anybody wants to book anything with me, I sent you in the private chat. If they want to book a session with me, they could just text me if they want to book a session with me.
Okay.
It's in your private chat.
Oh yeah, I put it. Yeah, you know what? I put it in the chat, but I'm gonna put it up.
Right.
In the I'm gonna put it up.
And if they want to book, if they want to buy my books, it's on Amazon. But if they hit me up on the text, then I'll send them the links, the direct links through Linktree for all 4 of my books. So
yeah. So I'm gonna tell you guys right now, when you sit down with King Simon, thank God he tapes the sessions, because you're gonna have to unpack them. You won't be able just to sit there and say, okay, thanks, King Simon. Oh, absolutely not. You got to keep listening back to that tape and really getting to what he's talking about, because he's literally, it's not just like a regular reading. If you're like used to getting readings where you just kind of like, okay, this is happening. Just no. It's really that motivation piece that I don't think that people, leave it to some Black people to come up with something. I have to say that, but it's really that motivation piece and making you feel like, okay, this is where you are. You're going to make these numbers work for you. And everybody has numbers. I mean, everyone has numbers, and it's now just figuring out a way to make it work for you. And King Simon is really good.
It's taking pieces of my life and incorporate, like I said, studying with Les and then studying numerology. You put that motivational principles to the numbers from a whole nother perspective. And I even throw quotes from the Ian Levazans, the Les Browns, the Eric Thomas. I throw it all to show you how it relates with you staying on your motivation, staying tight. You got to stay, because believe me, I'm one of those people that went through it. And if I didn't do those different those recall sessions, because it's all about remembering, recalling, realigning. So remember what, that's why that movie, recall. We need to recall who we are to make it happen, to manifest, like my brother Ron is talking about.
Well, you know what? Yeah, but it's cool how Ron is using spoken word and the house music and the drums, because those things are all, you know, pieces of us, and it helps us to get to, you know, tap back in. Which is really nice. Yeah, I'm with Jhutyms. See, I told you I was speaking for everyone, not just myself. But Jhutyms is saying the same. Jhutyms. It's Jhutyms Bailey. Yeah, she's a happy supporter. And yes, you know, and so it's like, you know, so we listen, girl, you need to be up in this little webinar. You got to be up in Ron's webinar so we can figure out how to push past that. So we can get on to the good stuff too. You know, where it's just easy. So we can be going to these dimensions and popping here and popping there, and, you know, and all that good stuff.
Anything I can do to get you there faster, I'm willing to do.
Yes, right. And remember, it's all on you, family. When you're taking people like his webinar or taking my courses, because I do have an 8-hour course out there that I do, people can buy and purchase and do what they got to do. But it's so minimal to the point that 8 hours of it, you just have to, you be able to take it on for yourself and move at your own pace. At the end of the day, it's up to you, the individuals, to put the work in. He's a master number 22. He's telling me, that's all. When I hear that kind of stuff, it's like case studies for me. Every time I hear that and what you're doing. And there's some people that I've met born under the master numbers that are going through miserable stuff because they don't know how to handle the power. I've met people born on the same day as Barack Obama that's homeless. Because I used to do a thing in New York where if I give a person some money, $1 or more, I ask them their birthday and question them of what they went through. I have to do case studies when I deal with numbers. Because numbers is a pattern and cycles and sequences. It's not psychic, people. Please don't come to me thinking I'm a psychic. I use the patterns, cycles, and sequences of life's experience from your past, present, and future to give you some motivation to take you to that next level.
That's however, I'm gonna stop you right there too, King Simon. So the reason why, he's not a psychic. However, if you are listening to what he is saying and then you start saying, oh, well, hell, that's my life, then it seems like it's psychic because he's explaining who you are.
Exactly.
You know, and you have to, you know, and so it sounds like it's like, how do you know? But it's literally, and that's like the cool thing about it is like, you know, there's so many different ways for us to get to who we are.
Exactly.
You know, and we are in the age of Aquarius, but we're in this age of everything is out here for us to be able to figure some stuff out. Like there's no reason you can just almost Google anything and start your pathway of, you know, of getting back to who you are. And so, these, you know, make sure, you know, there's a Cash App someone was asking for from the Virgin Islands. That's Cedric. Right. All right, Cedric, I see you over there. Well, God, you're in the nice warm spot. That's nice. That's what's up. Yeah, that's good. I mean, it was supposed to be warm here in New York today. I guess it was warm. But
New York.
It's like New York. And definitely not Detroit warm.
Oh, wow. Yes. Yes, right, people. Please spread love. Spread love. Spread love.
This, right here, guys. This webinar series with Ron. Make sure you sign up. The book. I started, you know, he sent me a link to the book and I purchased it on my Kindle. Okay, because I like being able to just get on my phone, because anytime you're doing stuff, you can just always have your phone with you, you know, and start looking at it. And I started, this is kind of like King Simon's book. So you can't just sit and just read all the way through. That ain't gonna happen. Nope. You got to read some stuff. You got to sit there and think about it. I was like, damn, did he just say that? Okay. Now I kind of went back and I was like, okay. So, but it is a very good book for manifesting, right? Because he's giving you a nice like intro to everything, you know, and it's action. You can't just read it and think it's just gonna come in your head. You literally have to do things, you know, which is always tangible things he's telling you to do. That's fire. All right. Do you guys have any closing remarks?
I'll go first because Ron, this is your show. You know, I was just because I got to get ready to go. But I want to thank you and your audience. Thank you, Brother Ron, for sharing. Like I said, I just purchased your book and I'm so happy. I know it's going to come and I can't wait because I love to read. I love to study. I love to take what other people have to help incorporate what I do. and makes me better. And of course, guide people to what. And I'd love to have you on my show when it's time, so we can have some fun and, you know, talk about this manifest.
We can't have fun here. Wait,
Yeah, no, we did have some fun.
what type of statement is that? I'm just trying to figure that out.
I mean, them can have some fun. I'm talking about on my show too. My goodness, I'm gonna have.
You say we can also have fun on my show too.
Also,
Go ahead,
see, there's that Virgo. Lord have mercy. Look, because you know me, I come with the bells and whistles. I got applause and all kind of music and stuff.
Yes, we keep. You know what? We don't have to borrow some of them applause. We keep saying it. He and I was like, you know, we kind of need the applause. We have to take the applause.
So I come with bells and whistles, coming from that radio personality stuff. So I come with bells and whistles, and I'm just honored. And just remember, family, what the brother and sister is saying. Please, please, please unpack your greatness by starting to look within yourself and seeing what you gravitate to the most. And whatever you gravitate to the most, that's where you're going to find some of your great aspects of who you are. If you talk a lot, if you write the journal, if you like to write, some people are not turning their pain, pleasures, and passions into profit. You can do it. And profit is not just money, but it's profit because you're supporting and loving and showing your love to other people because you're sharing your gift. Bob Marley didn't make that much money until later on in his life, but his gift of music was so penetrable that to this point, he's still leading on iTunes right now. Bob Marley.
Redemption song.
You know what I'm saying? He's been dead since 1981. He transitioned since then. So look, find your gift. Like Les Brown says, it's the last thing. The two most important days in your life is the day you were born and the day you find out why you were born. Let's find it, baby. Let's find it.
That's good.
All right. One love, man. One love.
All right. Thank you, King Simon.
You're welcome. Brother Ron, we're going to talk. I'm going to text you, okay, brother?
Okay, awesome.
Awesome. One love, man. Take care.
All I got is to say is Detroit, baby. I can't wait to get to Kemet with you guys in a couple of weeks. You know, again, like I said, I can't wait for you guys to get to Detroit, my hometown. I'm gonna lay out the red carpet. I'm gonna, you know, we're gonna do this right. I just secured the DJ too, so we go. One of my boys from Morehouse. Sorry, we go do things well, do things right. So I'm so excited to host folks in my hometown, and you know, hopefully I can get some of the young men to come that we're about to take to Africa in June. You know, these young brothers, these young kings got their passports, they're ready to go. And so I'm just excited to you know, I would have rather have done it in Kemet, but in my hometown of Detroit, we're gonna do this thing big, and so I'm looking forward to that. With Black Matter Lives, you know, it's a movement. It's a movement of action. It's a movement of one Afro. Putting up the wrong book.
Yeah, there you go.
One Africa. Okay,
yes.
Manifestation is what it's all about, and manifesting change using the power of our minds. That's the Black Matter.
Yes,
and the power of the spoken word. So you know, definitely you want to get on that webinar because you're gonna get all of my spoken word, even the romantic stuff as well as the primordial waters of noon, which is the hotepery over house music.
The hotepery over house music. So, you know, one thing I want to mention what you said. You know, you were saying that you hoped that it would have been, you know, in Egypt, and initially we thought that too. But let me tell you about that. So in our minds, because it is kind of, this lends to exactly what you're saying. So in our minds, we mapped out exactly how we want that trip to go and how we were going to do this. But the reality is that the way that it's happening now, it's like we wouldn't have been, I don't know if we would have been able to bring the fire like we are going to bring it in Detroit, because now we're clear. We thought we were clear about why we are doing, you know, like why we are spearheading this happy movement. But with all the stuff that happened in Egypt, now we are clear. We're like, yes, so we are coming to Detroit, my hometown, your hometown, to really lay it down. And it's pushed us in a way where we had to really start thinking about, like when you were saying about how you really enjoy HAPI, the documentary, but it's been pushing us in a way to look at that documentary and look at what Dr. Jeffries is saying in terms of this whole idea of pyramid analysis, the economics, politics, and culture, but really looking at that and bringing that into the conference, because that's the foundation for our power of unity. And so, I so wanted, we're all, and that's the other piece. We're still going to Egypt. We are super excited. We ain't telling no dates.
Nope.
Everyone that's going knows the dates.
Yep.
And you can still go. You can always shoot us an email if you dying to go. It's gonna be great.
I'm gonna be there. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be historical. We're doing some really dope things in Egypt. But so if you want to go, definitely hit us up. But this One Africa piece, everyone can take part in this. The streaming ticket is $50. That's $25 per day to hear 12 and we're going to even have more, because we're going to do a panel discussion of scholarship that's going to help us to align ourselves and this manifestation that Ron is talking about, for us to really manifest things in ourselves so we can manifest it for the community. And this is just a jump start. This is a jump start. This is another, every time we get to a certain point in HAPI world, we're like, man, we're here. But it's like, this is like the next step, and so it's really crucial that, we invest in a lot of things, but if you can invest in this One Africa streaming ticket, okay, and be part of the 1 million people and be part of really of the HAPI movement. This is the HAPI movement right here. And I just want to thank you, Ron. This has been good. You're going to have to come back.
Anytime.
Especially after I go through the webinar. I know I want to be like, you got to come back and explain this stuff. Make sure, and I also want to just give some shout out to the Cash App Love up in the house. Lorenza Small. Lorenza always be hooking somebody up. Thank you, Lorenza. Right here. Lorenzo Small. Right there. Thank you. You guys can feel free to match this donation at the Cash App right there. We have a lot of moving parts that are going to make this time in Detroit really special. So you want to make sure that, if you can spare a few dollars right there, Cash App. And also there's one other person. Oh, and Cedric. So I think Cedric's going to give us some Cash App love too. And yay, Elizabeth, she's paying for her ticket tomorrow in Detroit. That's what's up right there. And you should know her, Rashamela Combo. Y'all need to know each other. Mm-hmm. She's doing like this face yoga thing. It's dope. You guys need to know each other. I'm gonna hook you guys up by email.
Okay.
But thank you so much. Thank you, Ron, for coming on, and thank you for laying out our beautiful. It's gonna be a beautiful gala fundraiser for us on April 30th. And make sure I can't wait to see the pastor so I can thank him too.
Yeah, he's looking forward to it. He's gonna be there, and he's gonna tell his story about 85 with Sheikh Anta Diop.
Yeah, that's dope. And listen, Dr. Jeffries is gonna love that, because that is Dr. Jeffries' man. That is his man. Yes.
Yep. Yeah. So no, I you, like I said, you're welcome, but it's just manifestation, and it's done with love. So there is nothing. I'm as excited as you are to be doing this for the movement. It's just it's an expression of love and appreciation for what you guys are doing, and like I said, when it hits your spirit a certain way, it's the right thing to do, and it's done with no other expectation but love in my eye.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I felt it when you were selling. I was like, wow. And you were just like, yeah, we're gonna do this and that. I was like, damn, that's what's up. And it's it's a circle of love, right?
Yep.
So we meet people, we do things, and it's just like we feel love, and we share love.
Yep.
Sometimes we share love even when we're not feeling it from people, because it's not about like you said, it's not about their response back. It's literally about who we're deciding to be in this world.
And you just never know who needs to
Yeah.
feel that energy at any
Yeah.
given day, because this world and this life is tough, and especially now. And so you just never know who you are blessing just by saying, I see you, or just, you only have to say it. You just nod or you just vibrate, and you just never know what difference you're making. And so when that just becomes your reality, that's just manifestation. That's when things really start to happen, and you have to elevate to that level where it's done with no expectation whatsoever, or expectation for anything in return.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get to that, because we a little stingy, we a little selfish, and but when you're doing things, when you do it so often, it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
So, bless you.
I'm sorry. Yes. So thank you, Ron. There you go. It's you guys, you can just hit, if you go in the chat, you'll be able to just click the link and get the book, or snap into the webinar. I'm sorry, it's like fried.
I'm getting on Cash App now and send y'all some Cash App love.
Oh my God, you even giving us more love? Oh, that's nice.
But,
thank you.
But yeah, no, my pleasure.
Okay, and Wolfman Lou. If you guys been listening to HAPI Talks, you guys know I can't pronounce half the stuff I be trying to pronounce. So I'm gonna just shorten Wolf. Yes, Wolf. You're 20 miles away. So you can come in and be in person. We can't wait to see you guys in person. Excuse me. Yeah, we can't wait to see you guys in person, because we only see everyone like this. When I was in Detroit last weekend, I saw Ron. I was like, damn, I ain't seen Ron in years.
Right, forever.
We just been seeing each other like right here. So this is going to be nice, to see you guys like in person. So you can show us HAPI love right there at the bottom. You can go to our website and get your ticket. We have our little merchandise. I have Nubia on today. You can also grab a copy of the HAPI documentary. For you guys that don't know, we actually have a whole documentary that we did called The Role of Economics in the Development of Civilization. Shout out to Tahuti Films. They were the production house, a husband and wife team that, laid that film down. When you see it, you can't look at it on your phone. Nope, don't look at HAPI on your phone. You gotta look at it at a big screen TV and really appreciate this brother's cinematography. It's dope. But you can go into our, our hapifilm.com and get a copy. You can do everything. Sign up for the newsletter, grab you some merch, get your either your One Africa streaming ticket or your conference ticket. You want to get dressed up, put your glad rags on, come on out and hang out with us at the gala. It's going to be fun with the Morehouse DJ. It's still gonna be nice, guys. So make sure that you guys are checking it out. All right, Ron, thank you so much, and we will definitely be in touch. All right.
Got it. All right, Felicia.
There it is.
All right, family. Thank you all. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
All right.
Peace. There you go. So we had, you guys make sure you get this brother's book right there. Again, Black Matter Lives, Ron Spears. This is good. He's doing a whole webinar with it. So you are going to be, just tapped in and really able to manifest. Even us Virgos, we can do it too. We just have to just work a little harder than probably everybody else. Our last thing, just make sure if you are going to be in the Detroit area that you definitely come through the conference, the marketplace. If you don't come to the conference, I don't know why you wouldn't, but if you don't, you can definitely still, come through the marketplace. We're going to have a bunch of Detroit vendors out there. and Mfundishi. He's not a Detroit vendor, but he's definitely coming out. So make sure that you guys are in the house. I want to thank everybody in the chat. Thank you, Cedric, for your Cash App. Emily, thank you for all your insight. Michelle, Societe, thank you, and all you guys loving on my little afro. Thank you. And Cedric, you gotta. We're not telling the details about the Egypt trip on social media, but if you shoot me an email, I will give you all that information, and you can email us right there, info.hapifilm@gmail.com. All right, fam. Next week we're going to have me. We're going to have a good time on HAPI Talks. Look out Monday. We were just trying to finalize it. We have some really good feminine energy that will be in the house. And I think you guys will really appreciate our next guest for next week. So, yes, Michelle, peace and light. You know, I always like to use Professor Small's line, which, you know, anytime you talk to him, he's always like, when he gets off the phone, you can't say bye. You know, he'll say anything but bye. And so one of the things that he always says that I love, love, love is when he is like, you know, peace and blessings. So peace and blessings, family. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.
I don't know what we can talk about in this nation without talking about white superiority. Honestly,
Who defines the meaning of God also defines the relationship between economy and God.
African Americans spent $1.3 trillion last year, making us the 16th wealthiest nation in the world. Why have we not turned those riches into wealth to develop our community?